Okay, here we are at the 7 steps, 7 tips. I'm sorry, 7 tips to getting more likes and comments on your school's Facebook page. And my name is Randy Vaughn. I'm with Your School Marketing. First of all, I hope some of you have probably come to this from our Facebook page. And if you haven't, you can go to facebook.com and go to School Marketing. We're there as well. We're on Twitter. You can go to School Marketing, which has kind of had to abbreviate the marketing to spell out the word school, then MKTG. So you can find all of those links over on our website, yourschoolmarketing.com, where we share ideas for private, independent, faith-based, and Christian schools, marketing ideas. Uh, we're all about helping you as a school really grow in the areas of the what we call the 3 R's of school marketing, which is recruitment, retention, and referrals. And so that's our focus. And so we're trying to share as many ideas with you as possible, and some of those today particularly related to Facebook. And so, as you see on our screen here, this is just our Facebook page. You'll see that. And let me kind of begin with the idea of the semantics of Facebook. If you're new, some of you came over here from Twitter, and maybe you don't do a lot on Facebook. I hope you will as a school. I think you'll see some value in that. But perhaps you came via a link from Twitter. Facebook has some vocabulary that we've all kind of gotten used to lately, with the word like, particularly, especially when we talk about 7 tips to getting more likes and comments. I realized that what we had was we kind of had a double definition of likes we needed to address. And so one area of likes that we're going to talk about today are 7 ways to get more actual likes to your Facebook page. So what used to be called become a fan. Some people, including myself, often refer to these as fans now. I still like that in a way. I like to call my fans. Those are fans are people. Likes are impersonal to me, but that's just my personal preference. So the but you're wanting to get more likes to your page, and so a lot of people are asking us when we're coaching and consulting with schools, or how do we get more likes to our page? How do we increase the number of people that like our page? So we're going to talk about actually that like uh, word, and really show you some ideas on how to do that. I think you'll find these areas of really practical ideas. So we'll get into that as well. We're going to talk about the idea of likes and comments on the individual posts that you make. So that is an important area of we need to address as well, is particularly in terms of likes, because we want likes and we want comments. And so we're going to address some things there for you to learn as well. So hopefully all together you'll get much more than 7 tips out of this webinar, and leave some room at the end for you to ask your questions. So again, if you're just joining us, we're going to be sharing these tips in a listen-only format. Toward the end of the presentation, I will set up the question box that will kind of appear on your right side of your screen in that little dashboard that you have, where you have the little orange button. And if you're on your end, I can't see exactly what you're seeing, but if you need to minimize that, you can click that orange button, and it goes off to the right. Goes kind of minimizes to the right, and then to expand it, you can click on it again, and that's where you'll see the question box. So save your questions as you go through this. Make notes, and we'll give you plenty of time to ask questions at the end. So in terms of tips on getting actual likes to your Facebook page, let me just address the first obvious thing that I think everyone needs to understand. When you have a Facebook page for your school, the first thing that you really have to understand is who is your audience. And this is the strategic part of marketing that many times schools they really don't understand. They misuse. Many people will say, well, we have a marketing plan, we have a marketing strategy, but when we get down to it, we find out maybe we're not as specific as we need to be. And so in our social media coaching, even that we do with schools, we do packages where we actually include not only the practical and tactical side of social media, but we also talk about strategy, and where we actually address the idea of your audience and your multiple audiences. And I think you really need to understand that on your Facebook page. You need to really understand. Those of you who are the admins on your page, I, I would have a meeting and make sure at the beginning of the school year, as you're launching out this year, make sure you all understand who our audience is, or maybe who our audiences are. That may be a real important question, because if you obviously can understand, your Facebook page is not just simply an internal showcase, or maybe what I call sometimes an internal scrapbook of what's going on at your school. It's not just designed for parents and family members who have children at your school. That's not what it's just. It's not just simply for that. I hope you'll understand that. But what I see when I follow a lot of schools on Facebook, anytime I can get a chance to follow a private school on Facebook, I do it. I may not know anybody there, but sometimes I find them online, or I'll see a link from someone else. I'll like it because I want to follow and see what other people are doing. I get a lot of ideas, but I also see that a lot of people tend to want to post what really ends up being an internal scrapbook, where they post things that are going on, which are for the current families at your school, probably something fun to look at. They enjoy all the different postings that you make, and particularly the photos. But keep in mind, another audience that you might have, and you do have, is those prospective families. Those prospective families who are checking you out, they're kind of off to the side. Maybe they've come to an open house or a preview night, taking a tour. Maybe they have some friends that go to your school, and they're not quite ready at the point to invest financially, or maybe they're just not ready to make the move yet. But they're watching. They see your comments and posts in their news feed, and so if all they're getting in their news feed are internal snapshots of what's going on at your school, and almost somewhat of an inside, the kind of the inside joke feeling, where something's going on there, but especially when you post a picture and you don't really identify who the person is in the picture, because probably you assume that as a school everybody knows, Principal, John, everybody knows him. Well, prospective families don't know those names. They don't know the funny teacher, the science teacher that everybody loves and everybody knows her name. So you have to keep in mind when you're posting those things to post the descriptions, the names of the people involved, so that it doesn't feel like as an outsider that you're not privy to the inside jokes or the inside scoop on what's going on. So keep in mind your audiences. And I say that because one of the things that you want to do, it really transforms. I was talking to one school recently, it kind of transformed their idea about their Facebook page. Because when they started looking beyond just that this is a scrapbook per se, rather than just a social scrapbook, it's now a marketing tool to prospective families. They started realizing their posts were all internally focused, and they realized they weren't really posting anything of really high value content. So that's really the first tip I want to tell you is know your audience, but also share some high value content, particularly with your audience that is those prospective families, and content that's relevant to them. That's the kind of stuff that is the kind of content that that really is going to resonate with those prospective families. That oftentimes is the content that gets shared. So I'm going to scroll down and just give you some ideas. If you were on our Facebook page, maybe last week sometime, no, this week actually, you'll see right here in the front. I'll kind of circle it so you can see where I'm looking. On Great Schools, that their Facebook page, I saw something there that took me over to their website, and on their website they actually just had a little top 5 blog post articles that they have written, and these are what they call the most popular. Well, they gave me a clue that these are the articles that they post on their website, but it gave me a clue to understand that the reason they're most popular is these are the kinds of things that families, and particularly even prospective families, are interested in. This is the thing that these are the types of articles. This is the content that really resonates. Certainly, a first day of school photo album. Those are fun to look at, and those we'll talk about photos in a little bit and why those are so important. But it's also important to share some real high value content, things that current families and prospective families really enjoy. And I tell you what, besides photos, this high value content, a link to an article over on your blog, which I hope you're using on your school, a link to an article that reinforces some of the things that you see here listed under the most popular, getting ready for middle school, getting ready to start kindergarten, tips for your high schooler. If you were to create the content and put it over on your website and then share that content on your Facebook page, you're sharing content that's good for your current families, but it's showing a lot about who you are as a school to those prospective families. And those types of articles are sometimes the most often shared on Facebook. And when you're talking about trying to get more likes to your page, if you consistently create a stream of high value content to your newsfeed, well, then they are going to start sharing that to all their friends. And you can imagine some of those people on your newsfeed who like your page. Just on average, they might have 100 friends. Some of them have 1,000 or more. But if you just imagine everybody who likes your page, if you have 200 people and 100 of them on your news, in your database there, think of how many people, if they were to all share that, how far and wide that goes. So that relevant content is really important. So that's really, I just wanted to start with that one because I think that's the most important one to do is high value content generates likes to your Facebook page. Now let me show you. Let me go up here to the top here and scroll to the very top, and I'm going to show you something that is often overlooked. This is something that kind of developed with the new timeline feature that Facebook rolled out. And again, a lot of people are not familiar with it, so I wanted to show it to you to make sure you're aware. I want you to go up here to the top where it says Build Audience. Now, this is a way that you can actually increase the likes on your Facebook page. And so I wanted to click on here to show you the different options. There are actually 4 different things. Let me talk about each one. Invite email contacts. Now, you'll see here that I am logged in as Randy Vaughn. I'm not logged in. See over here, you're posting and liking as Randy Vaughn. I could change to post as my page. I don't really want to do that right now because I want to invite email contacts. And this is a way that I, as an admin, and I think no reason why you couldn't. Every admin of your page can do this same thing. And this worked for a client of ours one time. He did this because he wanted to invite some email contacts. So you click on that button and it loads up and it gives you a lot of different services that you can use. Now here's a cool little tool that you may have not known about. We're going to do other email service or other tools. Yeah, we're going to do other tools. You could do other email service like Gmail would be something you could put there. Now we're going to do other tools. So we're looking for how to create a contact file. Where are you going to get a contact file from? Well, one of the ways that some of you as admins have are, as many of you have a LinkedIn profile. And I wanted to show you how this works. So what you're trying to do is get an actual file in here. What that's called is a CSV file. And so what you're going to do is look for that. Now I'm going to go over here to this tab, and I've already pulled up my LinkedIn profile. So this is my LinkedIn profile. And I'm going to scroll down. These are all my contacts. And I'm going to go over here at the very bottom of the page. You see where I'm scrolling here. Export connections. And when I click here, now I'm going to export to, and it's got my Microsoft Outlook CSV file. That's what I want to click on, and I export that. What that's going to do is give me I'll save the time on that. Basically, it gives me the CSV file. Then I can go over here, and then after I've downloaded that to my computer, I can then browse and click in my CSV file, and that will go through, and then it will send an email out to all the people on my LinkedIn who maybe I don't have naturally all their email addresses, but it'll send a contact all of them. And we had a client who did this one time, and within 30 minutes, he had 3 or 4 new likes on his Facebook page. And so that's just something that you can do with LinkedIn that you may not have known. So go on and do that. So go back here to the Build the Audience. You can certainly invite friends. Again, you're as your personal profile. This is where, if you don't mind revealing you're an admin of this page. Now, some of you want to keep that more private. You may want to do this. But again, you go and invite your friends, and you click around, and all the friends that are not yet already, who haven't already liked your page, that's what they'll see. And you can send that, and that'll send them a notification to like that. Now, sometimes I get those, and I get a lot of those, and sometimes I wish I didn't. So sometimes you might want to think about that because you're kind of not necessarily, but in a way, spamming them. Maybe they don't want to get that, but it may not be the biggest sin in the world to do that. So you could do that. Here's share a page is a third option. Again, you click on that, and that basically just takes your page and puts it in you share this on your personal timeline. and you write something there. That's just a way to do that. That's not real hard, but both those are three different ways that you can build your audience as when you're logged in as a personal profile. There's creating an ad on Facebook. Certainly, we'll talk about that is one of the ways that you can do this through paid advertising. You can actually go through the Facebook ads and do a Facebook ad simply for the page. So you can have them go. You can have them go to a lot of places. Go visit a product on over on another website. But you can also advertise your Facebook page, where it'll actually have a way that they can like the page from there. But again, those are paid sources, so some of you may not want to do that. But that is certainly, and it actually shows you over here on the right side of the screen. This is what one of those would look like, so you could promote your page that way. So but that is a paid version, so I won't get into too much of that. You might want to read about that. And actually, I'm going to show you a real cool tip on if you are going to do Facebook advertising. I want to show you a tip besides just drawing them to your page. I want to show you something specific you can do with that. So we'll get to that in a little bit. All right, so now I want to show you another thing that you can do to drive people to like your Facebook page. As you all know, with the timeline that they created, we've all got this nice large timeline cover photo now. And so there's some restrictions, and one of the things that you're not allowed to do, and there's many other things, and the main point that I want you to know is Facebook says you're not to be able to actually draw an arrow down to this like button. Mine's already checked, but you can't really draw an arrow down to it. You can't have a call to action. You shouldn't have your phone number or website or anything like that on your timeline cover. That's in the restrictions that Facebook puts out. So one of the things is you can't draw draw an arrow that telling people to go like. You cannot write on your timeline cover like our page. According to Facebook, that violates their rules, and so they want to keep that timeline cover clean. So now, me as a marketer, I'm interested in using that timeline cover because I want people to be drawn to it. So you can do little tricks here, like we did, just something simple. I put these random little bumps in the timeline cover. There's no point in the bumps. There's no logic to it. It's not in the logo that we have, but I wanted to just randomly put two out there that would draw your attention. Much less, I wanted to put the little slogan that we have here there, but I also wanted to draw people to that little right bump, which it keeps covering up when I do that. But I wanted to draw their attention to this at least general area. So when they come to my page, I want to make sure they at least like my page. You'd be surprised how many times, even we do that ourselves, but statistics show that a lot of people will visit a page, but then they'll bounce right off and they won't actually click on the like button. Again, your likes, that is like Facebook's like your social database. You want to get, just like you would want to capture a phone number, an email address, you want to capture a like on Facebook. If you don't, if someone visits your page and you don't get the like, then how are you going to follow up with them? How are they going to continue to get your high value content, your photos? And you want to do that. So you got to look for ways to draw their attention. One of the pages that we did for Pantego Christian Academy here in Arlington, Texas, we worked with them. And so one of the things that we did, again, just took their basic design. This is a real simple, it's not an arrow, so we don't really technically violate anything. It's just kind of part of the design, but the line kind of begins to draw your attention down to this like button. So again, I've unliked it so you can see the idea is to draw their attention to that actual like button. We've done this over on our Marketing Twins business page as well. This is something we do. We have a 7 steps to marketing success program that we do. And so we use that kind of concept. So again, we actually blanked out the entire timeline cover, which it seems kind of odd. Some people might say, well, you wasted a lot of space. Well, no, we actually focused the space on this one question on 7 steps, and we actually created seven steps. And you see the little dots. And what we did is we kind of tried to be creative in the fact that what we really wanted to do is end up down here in this little area because we want them to click here and go through. And I'll show you what that looks like later on when you click in those areas. But when you go the 7 steps, number 6, because it's the same size box, is the actual like button. So the idea was logically, we're going to draw your attention down to that like button and end up down here. So that's another tool. There's a couple more we did. I'll show you. This is one we use kind of the road concept, but look at that. It not only goes to the timeline cover to the like, but actually goes down, it extends down into this little app icon here, and we'll talk about that. So some fun things you can do. So let me kind of let me see if here's another one that I was going to show you. This is another one we did for Jeffrey's Automotive Repair. Again, using that same road concept, and even took the circle, half circle of the kids. Draw your attention rather than drawing their attention way over here. That's not valuable space to me on a timeline cover. This is where I want to draw them to. So I even use the arc of that to try to draw their attention down to the like button. So those are some things that you can do with your timeline cover. The important thing is, yes, you do want an emotional feel. You want your brand to be represented. You want that real high quality photo of those kids and the campus, the beautiful campus. Those are important things to have. But don't neglect the fact that if they don't click on the like button, it doesn't matter how fancy the photo is on your timeline cover. You've got to get them to do that. So I wanted to show you those examples of the timeline cover. Now here's something else that we can do with the to draw people attention to the like and reveal, or to get the likes on the page. So I wanted to show you some things here. Let me go back to the Jeffrey page. This is an example of what we did. So you can actually draw them into your like button. So let's say, for instance, they get over here, and I'll show you another tip in just a second how this is going to even be. We can optimize this even further. We're going to go to this timeline cover, and what I really want somebody to do, even if they don't like the page, and I'm liked already because I'm an admin of this page, but if they haven't liked the page, let's say, for instance, they click off of that, or they don't click the like button, but instead of moving off to their Facebook news feed, they say, well, I want to know what We Can Fix It means. This is interesting down here. Again, we'll talk about that the very next tip about what you can do in these boxes down here. But let's say, for instance, they want to go further down here. If they click on this page, this is what they see. If they have not liked the page yet, again, mine says liked, but if you had not liked the page yet, you would, and you'll see this if you go to facebook.com/Jeffrey's Automotive, if you want to go back and see that. Now, this would normally say like. This is what they go to. We create a kind of a tease page, and it actually has a branded look. This is what's very similar on their website. There's their logo, but it actually points to a little coupon down there. But it's kind of a, what do you call it? I think I always get confused on the language. It's a translucent image, I believe. It's something you can see. It's a little bit of a tease, and there's something behind that fuzzy picture there that draws their attention. But what am I supposed to do? Well, if I click on the button above, this is when I click on that like, and again, this is that idea of like our page and start receiving your coupon and your great customer service, and then it says access to all those great mechanics you've been looking for. So the idea is, first of all, you're going to give them a call to action. The first thing you're going to do is, before they do anything else, you captured their visual attention, and now then they like the page, and as soon as they like the page, this is what they see. And we call it the like and reveal option. It's something we do for clients that allows people to kind of capture that visual attention with a little bit of a tease. That tease is then kind of a conditional tease. You've got to at least like the page first before you can see what's next. And it's a really effective tool to, first of all, when somebody's interested in what's behind there, they know, well, I've got to click that like button to see what's there. So you could put a coupon, you could put a video, you could do a number of things behind it, but then put that little kind of a gate on it a little bit, where somebody might you want to kind of draw them to the like button first before they do anything else, before they see the video, before they click on the coupon for something at the concession stand, or it might be something that they get for coming to an open house event that you have at your school. So that is, again, something that you can do. Something we did this is what we did for, and I'll go back to their main page, First Baptist Academy in Naples. Again, using their timeline cover, they've exchanged their timeline cover. They used to have one that went down to the like button as well. They rotate their timeline covers like a lot of people do. So again, you get the beautiful campus here, and it's a gorgeous campus. So you definitely at times want to show that, reinforce your brand. And again, I've already liked the page, but again, you can recreate these custom applications, these custom apps that really showcase a number of things. You can go to their videos, or I'll show you this one. This actually goes to kind of a welcome image. So again, somebody goes to a welcome. if they have not already liked the page, this one does not have the gate on it, so this one just goes straight there. If somebody has not yet liked the page, well, again, we're reminding them the first thing they need to do is like that page. So you're making sure that every visitor to your Facebook page likes your page. This is the reason why we do this, because you don't want them to click. Facebook is one of those things where we all want to click off and move on and go see what's happening with all of our friends and do all the other stuff. But you don't want to miss out the opportunity as a school to capture them into your social Facebook database. And I want to show you this. This is kind of, again, a branded welcome page. It's got all this stuff, but again, we've actually got it to where you can click and hover over this. You can go visit their website. You can actually, these are all things that are real straight from their website, branded just the same way. And you can actually click on each one of these are clickable images, linkable images, so that you can go from, you want to read more about the athletics, fine arts, you can go there. And so that kind of, again, this is the opportunity for you to showcase your brand to prospective families. Maybe they haven't come to your school yet. Maybe they haven't called you yet. Maybe they may have just driven by your school. They may not even know anybody there. So you really are at a point where first impressions are so important. And so you have an opportunity to, rather than just go into a page, go into a timeline, and then bouncing right off and moving on, you're trying to use the timeline cover we talked about here to draw people visually to that like button. You want to use these. Pantego Christian Academy also use these custom apps. We created those for them as well. Fort Worth Christian is another one. When you go to their timeline cover, they also have these apps too. We actually did something real unique with them. They actually have 3 custom apps because they wanted to showcase one. This was their welcome page, so they're very branded according to their website. They supplied all the graphics for us. We manipulated a few of them to fit the format here, but primarily this is what they wanted to focus on. Differentiators are huge here. So what's unique about FWC? Again, they talk about their technology. So actually click on that, and you can. And there's another. It's a little slow pulling up. There we are. Now we kind of focus on what's important to them. So they have some pictures. They describe a little bit about their technology, but they also want to talk about their faith as a Christian school. They wanted to talk about that as a differentiator, and so they have a whole tab about that. So again, there's some information there. Highlight their director of spiritual life and give you a little heads up on that. So a lot of things. They talk about mission trips, and each one of those links over to their page. So again, you're using your Facebook page and a real powerful tool to represent your brand, to showcase what's unique about you. You don't want somebody to just bounce off the timeline cover. There's too much important stuff to show them. You can't necessarily show them all at one time, but think about how kind of warmed up they'll be to you after they come to this page. Now they're ready to call you. It's not a cold call to you, to the admissions director saying, we don't really know anything about your school, but we'd like to come and take a visit. They've already seen a lot about your school. Now they're going to ask you about the technology. Now they're going to say, can you tell us a little bit more about the spiritual atmosphere of your school, if you're a Christian school? Those are the kind of things you've warmed up your prospective families, and that's why you're using Facebook not just as an internal scrapbook, but as a marketing tool, an outreach tool to prospective families. And so here's what I wanted to show you. Those are some ways that you want to use your custom Facebook page. You'll see us talk about this a lot on your custom Facebook page. One of the things that we do, if you go down here and you click on our Get Started button, which I didn't show you where it was, but if you click on that Get Started button, you will actually see, this is where, see, we actually have one of those gates too. So this is where you'll go first if you didn't already like our page. You click on that button. Again, it's driving them to the idea they need to like our page, and then this is what they'll see. We're actually giving them an opportunity to visit our website, connect with on Twitter, have a phone consultation with us, and all these kind of things that you can do. So we're trying to drive people as well to showcase what we do. One of the things that we do when we create custom Facebook pages for people. Let me go to let me pick the First Baptist Naples one as an example. Okay, so First Baptist Academy Naples. This is their, again. We went from here from their welcome over here. We clicked again. We clicked the welcome, and it takes them over here. I want you to notice something, and this may be kind of small in your screen. I'm not sure how well you can see this. But again, you can imagine that they have facebook.com/First Baptist Academy. That's their Facebook calls. It's their vanity URL. It's the shortened marketing URL. It's easy to remember. First Baptist Academy. Yeah, that's easy to remember. So make sure you get that if you don't already have that for your page. But this is something that you can use to increase the likes of your Facebook page. And this is, you're keeping score. I guess this is number 5 on my chart in terms of tips. If you'll notice, the URL up here has changed just a bit. It's not just facebook.com/First Baptist Academy. Now it's got the /app, and then it's got a long number. That's because that app, which had the welcome on it, I'll go back and show you again. This right here is a specific URL. Now, some of you may not know what I'm talking about. Some of you, your mind is already spinning with ideas of what you could do with that. Again, your custom URL to certain landing pages on your Facebook page. Now, how cool is that? Because now, do you remember me talking about creating an ad for your Facebook page? Certainly, you could do that. You could put an ad, and where will it drive them to? It will drive them to your Facebook page, where they'll see the timeline cover. That's fine. Let me show you. Let's go back to let's go back to our page, for example. I'll show you the Getting Started page. So if we were to create an ad for our Facebook, we could do that, and they would go to the timeline cover. Or, again, even on our page, notice here at the top, and I've kind of highlighted, it says facebook.com/school marketing, and then a slash, and then an app, and then a number. That custom URL is what's taking them to this page. Now, when I do the reveal, when it reveals over to them, that's all the same app. Nothing's changed. The URL is the exact same, whether you get to the welcome or to the actual reveal. Both of those are the same. Why would I want to use this? Well, rather than, if I have a opportunity to put in a direct link, rather than just saying go to my facebook.com/school marketing, where then I somewhat am relying on, is the timeline cover going to work to drive them to like the page? I don't know for sure. I don't know. I have to trust that they'll see the like button and they'll click it. But I could also, over my Facebook page, Facebook ad, it'll actually give you, when you set up the ad, it'll give the option and say, do you want to promote your page, or do you want to promote an external site, an external website? Which you could. You could go to your website and do something there, or this custom URL, because it's a URL. Actually, you can use this custom URL, even though it is tied to Facebook. It acts as a external URL that you could put in there, and so you would actually create the Facebook ad for an external website, even though it's really kind of going internal to Facebook, because it's going to an app URL. That's why you can, so rather than going to the timeline first, you could draw from a Facebook ad directly to this landing page, where I want to create kind of a gate where they have to like our page first, or I'm going to at least encourage them to like their page. I can't really force them to do anything, but I can at least encourage them to like our page. Go back over to the Jeffrey page. Let's see, this idea here. This page where we have the Jeffrey's Automotive. Again, there's some hidden stuff back there, something to tease them a little bit, and then when they click the like button, this is revealed. So you could use that same idea in a Facebook ad, because you have a custom URL. So I want you to know that, because I think that's a really neat idea. Let's say, for instance, you were having an open house event, and so let's say Pantego doesn't have it here, but let's say this example. If they had a what's going on at PCA, maybe it said open house event. Well, then you could create, and I can't remember, I don't know when the last time they updated this is, but let's say, for instance, they've got some links down here, and so what if this page, imagine, this is really neat. It gives you a reminder to be sure and like the page, so you have that visual reminder to do that first. But then they have what's going on. You can have an ad here below to to focus on an upcoming open house event, a private school preview night, or whatever you call your lead generating event. And you could draw people to it now. And so you can actually, on your Facebook ad, rather than you might want to go draw them over to your website landing page, and that there's nothing wrong with that. There may be some value in that. Again, what is your strategy? What you want to do? There's value in drawing them to your website for sure, even from Facebook ads. But sometimes Facebook ads work because people want to stay within Facebook. They don't want to click on Facebook ad and then go take them to another site somewhere. They want to stay within Facebook, and we're all Facebook junkies, I guess, and so when we're as Facebook junkies, we tend to like to want to stay in Facebook. We don't like to be forced to move off. This allows you to stay kind of within Facebook, even though it's very different. You're not really, without a custom Facebook page, you're not able to do this. But you're able to really represent, and somebody called it one time, kind of a mini version of your website here on your Facebook page. Super idea to be able to promote increase the number of likes on your page, and as well draw interest to your prospective family into your Facebook page. And again, this custom URL, you can draw people to that from a Facebook ad. So that way they go straight to the open house event. Maybe you don't want to gate it to where they have to like the page first, but maybe there's a contact form that you embed there, and we can do that. And it says a sign up, or this is the hour I'd like to come for a tour, and you really give them a call to action right there on your Facebook page. So something that is really unexpected, and I think the unexpected is remarkable, and that's something that people talk about. So again, you can use this idea, this fifth tip, this custom URL that you get with these custom Facebook page apps. You get these. You can share these in even inside of a status update. So you want to put a status update, say, join us for our open house. Well, where are you going to send them to? Go back. You could say, go back to our page and click on the open house button, and then, well, that's too many things that they have to do. You could directly link them to the URL, and they would come directly to this page. So again, that's you cut down the steps that you require of your prospective families to do, and so it's another. And you could certainly use this custom URL inside of. You could certainly use it in other social media too. You could draw even from Twitter. You could use that and use that link and draw people to an open house event. So maybe they're on Twitter, they could click over there and do that. Even I think Pinterest would work as well, as far as I know. You put a picture there and link it to here. I don't have any idea why that wouldn't work. And so I think that's and even in your email signatures, some of you need to put that on your every email that goes out. Next open house event, next preview night is this day. So put that on there with this link over to it. Now here's something that you want to kind of be aware of. These custom Facebook pages, they are visible on the tablet programs, the iPads. They're not yet available on the smaller handheld mobile devices like iPhone, Android. They're supposed to be coming. They keep saying they're going to do that. So just be aware that when they do that, they're not visible there, but they are visible on the iPad and a desktop program. Now, so that be something you want to take note of. All right, so let's move along here. We're not too far from being to the Q&A part where you can ask your own questions, but QR codes is another way to draw people to your Facebook page. Again, if you're not familiar with what a QR code, this is what a QR code is in the middle. Now, we put one on our website. Some of it's just to show people, clients who need to know what these are, we draw into this page to kind of give them an idea. Take your little phone scanner, scan in the QR code, and you can link them over to your Facebook page. One school did this at their concession stand at every one of their sports activities. They put a sign there as people are waiting in line, big old sign. They did some creative things with it. Maybe I think one school did a contest or a reward of, hey, like our page and get a free something that they gave away at the concession stand. You could do that with QR codes. Lots of activity with QR codes. Certainly use those. Not everybody knows what they are, but have a little fun with that. Draw people to that. Some people, these are the mobile friendly tools that you could use. So anytime you're at a sporting event, we can do a lot of real creative things at your open house. with QR codes. But mainly using QR codes in this presentation, I just want to say is to draw people to the Facebook page. Make sure they can do that. And if you scan that with your iPhone, you can go right to a Facebook page and like the page. One of the final things I want to show you is the tagging feature. This is something that a lot of people miss. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of times you just need to train your audience, your Facebook followers, how to do this, because a lot of times they will say in a status update, "Hey, I was at my child's school and it was really great. I love that school," but they don't tag the school. They don't tag your school in it. So let me show you an example. Our boys, we're living Fort Worth, so our boys, this is my two sons, and number 2 and 4 over here, Timothy and Jonathan. And so they participated in the baseball camp at Fort Worth Christian this summer. And so I posted a picture on my profile, but I tagged Fort Worth Christian School in that page. So again, imagine if your fans, your people that like your page are tagging you in their photos or in their status updates. If you're teaching them, training them to do it, rather than I could have just put Fort Worth Christian School without any kind of link to it, and all my friends would have seen that, but what would they have done with it? It would have registered in their mind, that's it. But this way, they can actually click through that and say, well, I'd like to know a little bit more. And sure enough, there's the Facebook page for FWC right behind that. And so that's the number 6 was QR codes and 7 was the tagging feature. So those are just some quick 7 tips on getting more likes to your Facebook page. Let me do real quickly through in terms of engagement on the actual status updates. I don't have a lot of pictures here. I'll run through this real quickly to show you how this works. Again, we talked about the idea of the high quality content. If your content, you could share a free report, you could share a blog article, you could share, lots of those kind of blog postings that we talked about early on with the great schools that they had. The question you have to ask yourself, is it worth sharing? Is something I'm putting out there, would somebody think about sharing this on their profile? Does it answer any question? Think about the frequently asked questions that you get. If you're in admissions, think about all the questions that people ask you, the first time questions that the prospective families ask. Create content, blog articles, ebooks, things that answer questions, and put those out on your Facebook page, because those are the ones that typically get shared by other people. If it addresses a pain point or a problem that somebody might be having, maybe at their other school, maybe they're in a public school and you want them to be in your private school, well, maybe address the issue of class size. Perhaps that's an issue of differentiation for you. And so that would be something the high value content creates a higher level of engagement, more likes on that posting. And again, we're talking about the bottom of the post where it says you can like it or comment on it. This is the idea that you create high value content. Photos and videos are the highest types of highest engagement on those types of things. You get more engagement on photos and videos, and actually, I think most of the research has shown that photos tend to be even better, and they're just easier to create. You can do a lot of photos. Videos sometimes take a lot more technology or tools for you to use, but photos, you can put those up there. Create them, put descriptions in there, put links in there, but the photos tend to get the highest form of engagement, more likes, more comments. So use that. Do a lot of different things. Take some fun photos of that are going on at your school that really showcase what your school, the personality of your school, showcase athletics, fine arts, academic meets, all those kind of things. Do some fun stuff, because those are the kind of things that, again, people kind of tend to like that. You might even have a picture of the headmaster of your school, and maybe it's a certain. You could even do something silly like the headmaster's got a certain color shirt on underneath his jacket, and everybody's got to say, guess what color it is. And it's really kind of silly. It's not important, but you be surprised how many people would guess, and you kind of create a little a poll out of it in a way. You kind of start getting people to guess what color, and then the next day you post the photo with the jacket open and you see it's a blue shirt. And so it's crazy. It sounds silly, but the level of engagement is important. You can ask questions. and there's a question feature on there. If you go down here, I'll show you real quick. And this is where you have to be logged in as the page to do this. So again, you want to do the page. I want to go over here. There's a status update, photo, video, or you want to click on this. Now this looks like just an event. No, it's not. It's more than that. You can go over here and there's event, milestone, and question. And so you might want to use this feature. Some people use it to where you actually can take a poll. It'll kind of go through there, but basically using that as a question. Sometimes it's just easier just asking in the status update. What is what's for what's the headmaster's favorite color? What's the dog name of the science teacher? Those kind of things. They're just questions, and they just create engagement. It's not the most important thing in the world, but it creates likes and comments on your page, and it creates, again, you're looking at that for two reasons, and I want to end with this. The most important thing you want to think about in terms of the reason why you need to get likes and comments, there's two really important reasons. One is a thing called EdgeRank. Now, I don't even want to begin to explain in the few minutes we have what EdgeRank is, and so I'll actually draw your attention to this little posting here. If you go to our Facebook page, the School Marketing Facebook page, we actually did a blog article on our website just a couple of days ago about what is EdgeRank, so you can go there and understand it. It basically means Facebook has determined what kinds of stuff is actually seen and visible by people in your newsfeed. Not everything that you post is seen. I don't even begin to understand how they do this, but they do, and it affects. And that's the reason why you need to get likes and comments. The other thing that's really important is those prospective families. If you understand that prospective families are looking at your page, again, kind of peering in to see what's going on at the school, what do they like, what's their, we oftentimes will go to the Facebook page and say, what does the Facebook page say about who these people are? What do they do? So if you don't have any likes, you don't have any comments, it kind of says a little bit about your school, even if you don't intend it to be. So get a lot of likes and comments on your postings, but then also hopefully I've shared with you some ideas on actually getting likes to your page as well. So here we go. I'll just open up. You should see on your right side a chance to ask questions. So take a minute or so as you have questions come in. There's already, all right, we're getting already a couple in. So we'll take a minute or two. Let me kind of, as we're going through this, I'll share with you a little bit about the photos that rank the best. Again, we talked about the idea of you can post a picture, first day of school pictures, and those are good. You're going to get a lot of likes and comments on those. Photos of, as much as you want to showcase, you can showcase a lot of different photos, activities, events. Those are going to get some, but for some, it's the funny photos it's the cartoon, it's the headmaster dressed in a funny outfit, it's the senior class doing something really goofy. Some reason that those we all love Facebook because it's a playground for us in a way. So we tend to want things to be lighthearted and fun, and so those typically are a way that you can get a lot of likes and comments. So let me address a couple of questions. We got about 7 or 8 minutes here, so I think good questions coming in, guys. Keep them coming in. We're gonna keep. I'm gonna keep monitoring. Let me go through great questions. Got Rebecca. Susan's got a great question. Donnie's got a great question. Kelly's got a great question. Y'all are keep coming in. Good stuff. Okay, so let me kind of address a couple of them real quick. Susan asked about linking Facebook to Twitter, and so I wanted to address that one because I really think that's important to do. A lot of you are not on Twitter. A lot of schools are not yet on Twitter. So I always tell people if you want to be on Twitter without really being on Twitter, kind of link your Facebook to a Twitter account for your school. Go to facebook.com/Twitter. It'll give you the option to link to you actually create a Twitter account first and then link that. So basically everything you post on Facebook goes over to Twitter automatically. So there's some good things about that. It gets you a presence on Twitter. There's some good things. I would keep in mind that the character length, the restrictions on Twitter, 140 characters. If you're going to post a long posting on Facebook, it's going to get truncated over on Twitter. Not all that bad because it gives you a link back to your Facebook page posting, so somebody can actually find it if you want. But you might want to keep in mind if you have a hashtag or certain important information that you really want somebody to click through that link on Twitter. Give them a reason, give them an idea of what it's really about first. But that's just something you have to realize what happens. But I think definitely, certainly good to do that. Now, I say that Twitter is all about engagement as well. So without getting into too much of Twitter, don't just post to Twitter and that's it and leave it. Go check it and go respond. You might have people who are responding to your Twitter who are not on Facebook. So you be sure and you're going to get into Twitter kind of slowly that way. So be sure and check it and engage on Twitter as well.
All right, Randy, this is Donnie. I'm going to moderate here and just ask you to answer.
Okay.
I'm going to combine a couple of questions that we've been getting. So answer it this way. The questions are, how often should we be posting on Facebook? And is there research to show what days, best times, days to post? What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, I've actually seen research on times and days, just about every level as possible. So here's what I would say: frequency matters. People expect they don't need to hear from you once a week. That's not enough. They need to get more from you. They don't need to hear from you 10 times a day either. That would be too much. They'll unlike you before you know it. So create a sense of balance. Now, here's what I would say: is vary the types of posting you do. You'll be surprised if all you're posting is pictures, 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 and it's all just kind of that internal scrapbook. You don't identify who these people are. If I'm a prospective family, that gets annoying to me because I don't know who these people are. I don't even know what the activity is. I don't know what this club is. And I feel like I'm supposed to know this, but I don't. So I get that outsider feeling. So I'm not gonna like your page for long. But if you create interesting photos and then intriguing blog articles from time to time, and then you create a question, an interactive question, you keep the content varied, then I think you're going to be allowed and given permission to do more. If you do a lot of educational posting, I think you're allowed to do more of that. But if it's just constant self-promotion, people get tired of that. But if you help them, if you add value to what they're doing, I think for sure people respond to that and they share that kind of information. Now, the frequency, I guess I always look for, if you're going to do it once, I would probably vary it and just see, kind of judge based on the likes and the comments. Sometimes you might want to try early morning posts when people are kind of getting up in the morning before they get off to work or school. They check the Facebook page. You might do the same thing for midday and then maybe right after work and then maybe late at night. I think a lot of times for a lot of families, late at night is a popular time to post. Use the scheduling feature of Facebook. Schedule some posts to go out late in the evening at 9 o'clock. And the kids are all in bed and the parents are up. Maybe they're talking about their kids' day at school and maybe they're not happy with the school they're at. And your article comes in just at the right time. And so vary your post, the types of posting, and then vary the times when you post.
All right.
That answered your question.
I think it did. It answered actually two questions that we had. So we're probably going to spend the rest of our time. We're going to combine several. We're getting a lot of interest, a lot of questions about these custom Facebook page apps on the.
Okay.
We've got the school marketing where it says speaking, podcast, and get started. These great looking icons that grab your attention. Well, it certainly got the attention of everybody on the call because everybody's wondering, how do I get those? We're getting questions like, how do I go about setting those up? How do I get those that it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg? How do I get access to those? And how can I utilize those? And I know that you've got some thoughts on that. I know the first thing that we want people to do, and I don't know if we've said this, we want people to like the Your School Marketing page.
I would really fail if I hadn't ever already asked you to like the page.
Please make sure you go to facebook.com/school marketing and like our page. We would love it if you would like our page. And that's also going to play into something that we wanted to bring up at the end, and it plays nicely into what kind of thing we want to offer all these folks who have been on the call today, and this fits nicely into that. So talk to me about that.
Okay. And another thing that go back to number 7, the number 7 tip was tagging. We would love it if those of you who are, whether on a personal profile, if you like our page, even your school as a page can like our school marketing page. So maybe your school can like us as well as you as a personal profile can like us. But we'd love it. I mean, we're just asking you if you have a positive review and you've learned a lot, would you share that on Facebook and tag your school marketing page in that? So that would be appreciated. Um, Let me address one thing before I do, because I just reminded I saw this, and this is something that we're going to do a bigger announcement next week, but just something we've been working on. Some of you have paid attention to school marketing. It's brand new. It's just in the last few months, really. But we launched a podcast specifically for private school marketing, and so we have actually the announcement is today. We finally got ourselves onto iTunes.
Drum roll,
And
iTunes.
so iTunes and you can actually subscribe now. Before it was just over on our website. You could listen to the recording there, but we actually have we're doing primarily monthly podcast at this point in time. In the next before the end of the year, we're going to go to a actually what are we going to go to at least twice a month, maybe 3 or 4 times a month, shorter podcast. But we're going to try to have a monthly guest interview. If you go to Donnie's already pulled it up there. This is our iTunes preview. Again, we just got a few. 2 of those are actually guest interviews, and it was so gracious of Richie Escobedo and Dr. Rick Newberry and Brendan Schneider, who I think may be on the call. Though the 3 of you guys did guest interviews with us, those were fun for us to do. Got a lot of good feedback from that, and hope to grow this uh, podcast just as a resource for. I'd love to showcase a lot of guest interviews, give you a lot of marketing tips as well. So that anyway, I wanted to share that. So in terms of the uh, Facebook apps that people seem to be talking about, the custom Facebook page. We love to do these. We do these a lot and have over the years and done these for businesses and churches and ministries and certainly for schools. So not only if you like our page, one of the things that we're doing for right now, it's just for through the month of September. If you want to get in on a custom Facebook page, really a full blown, you can have. Let's see if the one that has yeah the one that we have three apps here, and each one of those goes to a specific URL, specific page, and we would do all 3 apps for you. If you need help on creating a timeline cover that will do this, we will do this for $500. So that's a lot of a discount based on what we normally charge people, but for you guys, just mention that you're on this webinar, and we'll do that for $500. So we have a lot of questions, and I'm trying to address these in some blog articles coming up, but until we're kind of coming up on the hour. So it's enjoyable to be a part of this webinar with you. So thanks for joining us today.